Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no co-pays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and more whole. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. .org Elder Place.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio App. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Queen Bree, inviting you to come join me on Clean Greens Living. Broadcasted Tuesdays, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. On Clean Greens Living, we talk farming, community, and ways to being healthy. So come join me and let's discuss ways to create a healthier you and a healthier community.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in, talked to our lender, and saved our home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org. That's washingtonhaf.org.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Hey. What's happening? What's cooking? Thank you, Daniel. That's George Benson from the Cookbook album, and what's cooking, and kind of goes with our theme with my very illustrious co-host, Ms. Brenda Charles Edwards, host of Seniors Matter, but she is also my co-host with What's Cooking in Columbia City. And the reason why, and we'll share, but welcome, Brenda. Good evening.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
How come you look better on the, you look better on the screen than I do? Okay, fine. It must be the make.
I want your backdrop, John.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, it took me hours to figure that. I was trying to do one for Columbia City, but we'll have one up. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, as they say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the ships at sea. Welcome to the inaugural, the kickoff, the maiden voyage of What's Cooking in Columbia City. Brenda and I, we've been knowing each other for
a very long time.
Very long time. I've always looked up to her. You know, she's much older than I am, so we always give respect to my elders. But anyways, I'm just kidding. We said, we are back in Columbia City. Literally, we are now. Yeah, thank you. And you do your show, Seniors Matter, which comes on Friday afternoons, out of the theater, Columbia City Theater. We are sandwiched between two businesses, the Ale House and Tutabella. So you can't miss us. Hey, you can't. There's no excuse. If you're going to go get a beer, you're going to walk by us. If you're going to go get a pizza, you're going to walk by us. We're right in the middle of everything, and that's beautiful. And that's why we came up with the idea of featuring businesses, specifically businesses in Columbia City. And I said, well, to me that it's a no-brainer. Like I said, we talked about it. It's been a little while in the works, but now we are here. Thank you. So give yourself a hand for being here, and We are, well,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Our sound guy, our technician, our assistant director,
Oh,
our guru, the guy that put the music theme to it, and he did that in a matter of. I sent this information to him. Like, thank you, Daniel. Daniel, and we're going to talk to him. We're going to bring him on. But, so and I of course ran this by Brenda because, like I said, she has a very successful show, Seniors Matter, one of the only shows of its kind on the internet that deals with the issues involving seniors. And she can uh, do her own plug coming up. I do one because this is also Hispanic Heritage Month, and so right now tomorrow, Thursday, I'm going to be doing a show with two individuals that are very prominent in the community, Estela Ortega and Miguel Maestas. And so, it's going to be really interesting talking about it. But this is our show. We hope, and I'm asking, hopefully, that we can get. I don't know what happened. I think I just lost my picture, but
no, you're
we
there.
yeah, here we
I
are.
see you.
Yeah, so we want to feature businesses in our community, and Brenda and I agreed. There are some businesses that are, have a national connection. They represent national businesses, but we wanted to say not. We wanted to feature exclusively locally owned and operated businesses, and I think I sent her the list that I was astounded. This comes from the Columbia City Business Association. They do a printout, and I took all the different types of businesses by the different categories, and I was amazed. I ended up adding it up. There's over 200 businesses of every kind, of every ilk, and I shared it with Brenda because, like I said, we got restaurants, right?
But
Um,
John, but
yeah.
John, when you look at that number
hmm
and you look at the square footage of Columbia City and Hillman City,
hmm
how do they do it?
That's the thing that that's really interesting. Um, well, look. I'll give you an example. Look at our theater, Rainier. Where Rainier Avenue Radio headquartered at the Columbia City Theater, the historic
Right,
Columbia City Theater. Part of that building is part of Tutabella, the backside
right.
of Tutabella. So you've got adjoining businesses. And I can imagine what Columbia City was like during the height of the
Ooh,
speakeasies in Prohibition, because there are probably ways to get around all underneath and underground and stuff like that. Because
that's
um,
true.
I, I looked at the history of Columbia City. We're talking about going back 1800s, middle 1800s, and it was incorporated. Now, see, this is what's so interesting how they do things. Of course, Columbia City is now designated as a Columbia City landmark district. It's a historic district, one of 8 in Seattle. And when you read about the history, we're talking about going back to 1893. It's called the annexation from Seattle, but it prospered on its own because it was tied to the railroad. There was a major railroad spur that comes right through the middle of Rainier. I guess literally where Rainier Avenue is. uh, the the I guess the panoply between the Andrew Carnegie people who
Mm,
built the library, and
right.
they also funded a number of other projects. They also created that park-like structure right behind the library. They wanted to have like a park next to the library, and then other businesses built up along it. One of the nationally recognized businesses that people probably listening don't realize, Oberto Sausage,
Oh,
started in
yes,
Columbia City in our neighborhood. The Oberto family.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. you see the national, yeah, you see Richard Sherman and Mike, all these different athletes and all these different commercials about Alberto.
Hmm.
Um, who's that guy on ESPN? They do these commercials. That's Alberto, the family here in Rainier Valley, really. Art Alberto, one of the descendants I got to know, um, was involved, very heavily involved in the community. They still are. And so, yeah, it's just a great legacy. Um, so, anyways, I wanted to, I'm kind of running my mouth here, literally, but Brenda, when I approached you, you didn't even hesitate. You said, "Let's go for it." And
Well, for sure. I mean, there's so much history in Columbia City. I know a couple that just moved to Columbia City from California. They had heard so much about it, and so they wanted to be a part of it. And he most days, and especially since it's been nice, he bicycles to work. No,
mm,
not bicycle. He rides his bike to work.
mhm.
I just had a vision of him, and I'm thinking bicycling. No, he
Yeah,
rides his bike to work, and they have a car, but I've been talking to him, and I said, so what do you think about Columbia City now that you're here? And he said, man, there are so many restaurants. There's so much to do. There's a movie theater. You can go have coffee. You can work out. You go to
yeah,
PCC. I mean, I said, yes, it is a little metropolis all of its own.
right. Yeah, yeah. And we encourage people to patronize the businesses here if you're not a resident. But it has that neighborly feel. I mean, you're going to see people you see almost on a daily basis, coming and going up and down, as they say, the Ave, right in
Right.
Columbia City, Rainier Avenue. And
Yeah.
like I said, you could literally work out, go get some clothes, dress up, go out to get a fine meal, and if you don't have a car or any other transportation, you can go rent a bike and bike home. I mean, literally, that's what you can do. Uh, and I sent you the breakdown. I was surprised too. We got restaurants, we have architectural design companies, we got beauty salons. Well, I know you would know that. I mean, we got
Yes, the
beer.
nail salons I do know well. Uh, don't forget, John, there's also a florist.
Yes, Columbia, yeah,
And
Columbia City Bouquet was one,
yeah,
and I
so
mentioned it because I made contact. We're gonna, but see, the whole concept of our show, and Brenda and I both agreed we want them to tell their story.
yes,
Why and how and why Columbia City, and because that to me that's important. I think you agree that that is something we want to hear them talk about, why they picked Columbia City, and what to look forward to in their business. Because most of these businesses were able to survive this pandemic. They did,
yes. And also, I don't know the numbers, and it's something I'll have to look into, but there are actually some of these businesses own the business.
Yeah,
They own their building. They're not renters, they're owners. And I
right.
think given the pandemic, that's saying a lot
Mhm.
and how they're surviving. That's something I'd like to when we there's a couple restaurants in particular I'd like to ask the question of how how are you surviving?
Right.
We
Yeah.
know that you've taken a hit, but Columbia City always seems to support its own,
Yep.
regardless. There's that family, that camaraderie that is so important. It's the glue that keeps the whole area together.
Yeah, and that's really, that's what I think is so unique about it. And like I said, these are businesses where it's almost like a family. I patronize several businesses. So do you. We
Yes.
know the owners. We know the people who operate these businesses. We've also Rainier Avenue has worked with several of them, actually a number of them. We did a project a couple years ago regarding bikes, bringing bikes for kids who don't have bikes to the studio when we were located up the road. And so these are the kinds of things that make us, as they say, connect with our community. as well as the story. I am so interested because, face it, people say, "Yeah, I'd like to be my own boss and have my own business." But when you start going into it and looking at what it takes to own and operate your own business,
It's a lot of work.
that's a lot of work. And most people just say, "Yeah, well, later for that dream." But
Right.
I have to. I have great respect and give them great deference for people who own and operate their own businesses, because nationally, the majority of the people who work in this country work for small business. That is
Yes.
a fact. And these are all small businesses. Some of them are even mom and pops, as they say, literally, second generation. We've got people. I mean, we've got everything coming in around. We got. I mean, in the weeks ahead, we're planning and programming all the way to the end of the year. There's no way we're going to be able to get everybody in
Oh,
on a 30-minute show, but we're gonna get as many as we can to the end of the year, and then beyond. For 2023, we're going to have another full slate of interviews and shows. But when I first talked to you about it, what were your what were your thoughts? Another pipe dream of John Yasutake's, or what?
no, John, actually, my first thought was, oh, all the restaurants we'll get to go to and sample.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That was my first thought.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
I
I
thought,
mean,
oh, then that means I'd have to go to Bulls and work out.
right. Exactly. Free stuff. Yeah, yeah. We'd have to go work out because we'd be overloading. But like I said, uh, it just very few communities like this. You have that sense and feel that you belong here. If you
Right.
understand what I'm saying. Uh,
Yes.
People say that to me all the time. Man, forget all the Broadview, Lowhurst, da 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 da. We know that this neighborhood, this community has pretty much kept to a very large degree its identity. We
Mhm.
know the central area is now. What is the central area now? It's we
It's in
don't
the
know.
middle of the map.
Yeah, and we look at those aspects of it, and like I said, I thought it was a no brainer to me. And Dan and Tony Benton, they both jumped on it. I mean, there wasn't even a question. And then when I told them I'm going to bring in an exemplary co-host, Brenda Charles Edwards, they said, "Brenda who?" No, I'm just kidding. They said,
Oh,
"Great, because you have
I
very high
love it.
ratings." Yeah, no, they have very high regard for your show because you're so. And I got to be honest. I've never worked harder to be a guest on a show than hers, because she gave me a 2-page list of things that I need to talk about and cover, and she was going to ask. It was like, hey, I could, and she can do it in her sleep. Me, I just do free form. I'm just, what is a script? I don't know what a script is. Let me talk. But and I really appreciate your input on this because and this is a joint effort, ladies and gentlemen. I may do a lot of talking, but the brain trust is Brenda Charles Edwards and John Yasutake playing a supplementary role and a support role. But
Oh no, John, you are so
yeah,
major. I mean, it's not everyone that gets to work with a host has an award-winning show.
yeah, well,
And I just feel so grateful to be working with you finally after
oh
all
well,
these years.
thank you. I appreciate it. Because actually, I feel the one responsible for bringing you into the
You are.
yeah,
You are. You are the one responsible.
yeah, and please don't tell anybody, but the award I gave to myself, so I could say I have an award-winning show. So
I
true,
won't tell anyone.
true confession.
I
And I
won't.
was yeah, I was looking at
Oops.
yeah, yeah, no, we have everything in Columbia City.
So
What's
I would
cooking?
like to take this minute
Yeah,
or two, and talking about Rainier Avenue Radio. We have so many genres that appeal to just about everyone. And I want to talk to Daniel, who is our producer, but also has his own show which
Yes.
is full of music. And what else, Daniel?
Hip hop and R&B.
All right. So can you put in a little sample while we're on the air?
Can I put in a little sample? What
What you play? What you play? Come on.
what I play? I mean, we play
Nothing
local
X-rated.
artists.
Nothing X-rated.
No. Quit it now. I know it's after hours, but quit.
Yeah, we play, local artists, national artists, sometimes international. We interview local artists every week. Sometimes we get them to perform live and freestyle, and sometimes we have a little game show that we play called Take Your Pick, where it's just like you choose between two different options, and it just like makes a crazy conversation.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it is a full 2 hours of fun and entertainment every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Rainier Ave. We have we have like 3 guests coming in tomorrow.
I was just going to say, isn't there somebody sort of famous coming to the theater?
On Thursday, yeah.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thursday. The Ohio Players are going to be here.
Right.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. You can check the special edition of Street Beat hosted by Tony B.
Tony B. Oh, Ohio Players, huh?
Yeah.
I
know.
The heavy syncopation, bass over rhythm. Unmistakable, man. Unmistakable. Very nice.
They've had some pretty wild cover album covers too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what they're known for, right?
I like
and look at that. One of my co-hosts on Fresh Juice right there, Joshua Ayers, aka ID Yourself. Showing love right there to you guys. So
all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. This is
I love that.
Well, and when I asked what time can we find a slot
on my show?
No.
During our program, not you, but our program schedule, I was thinking more like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then he hits me with 9:30. I said, in the morning? And he said, no. At night? 9:30 at night? Man,
we don't know. No.
Man.
You're gonna have to find another producer to do a 9:30 a.m. show.
I hear that.
But that kind of tells you, ladies and gentlemen out there listening and watching, we have so much going on that this very unique show that we have, What's Cooking in Columbia City, gets a time slot at 9:30 to 10 p.m. on Tuesday. Hey,
that's right.
Hey, that's the best we could do, but we'll take it because we want to be on the air. Oh yeah, look at it.
These are just some of our shows right here.
Yes. Good gravy. Man.
It just
so like
going.
I said, there's something for everyone.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 7 days a week. That's what's so beautiful about this.
So how many shows do we have, Daniel? Do you know?
I would say about 30 plus. However, that's not counting all the shows that we've had over the years that have left us. So, yeah, if you look at our archives, probably over 60 different shows have been archived. So,
right.
Plus, we do events like special events. We broadcast, and then we do regular programming on sports, youth sports. I mean, those things. I love it.
Yeah, doing a pretty good one this Saturday.
Yeah,
huge rivalry.
Garfield and Rainier Beach. Oh my gosh!
My alma mater, Garfield, versus those upstarts, those Vikings from the Rainier Beach area.
Well, looking at the record, I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
Yes, it will be. 2 o'clock on October 15th.
And you're doing color commentary for that one, aren't you, John?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
I will try. I am a Garfield High School graduate, class of '66.
You better not be showing favoritism.
I know. That's what I was just going to say. Thank you for saying that, Daniel, because it sort of sounds like he might. Keep him in check.
Hey, I listen to his show every week, and there's a lot of favoritism.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the truth comes out.
So now let's not roast John. This is a show on what's cooking in Columbia. Well, cooking, roasting.
Well, that's why you're being roasted.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's what's cooking right now.
Yeah. So we appreciate Daniel, also putting on the theme song in. That was literally the last minute. I sent that to you. Thank you very much for incorporating it. But we are making rounds too. I'm making actual visits to the different businesses and giving the information, and they're very surprised. And some of them know we've been in the neighborhood. I went to the new restaurant. I'll mention them, Jackalopes, and they say, "Oh yeah, we know who you are. Rainier Avenue Radio World. We're just up the street." And when I tell them we're in Columbia City in the theater, they say, "Wow, man!" And so this is a natural, just like your show's a natural. With the genre that you serve, the music and that genre, which is my kids' age and my grandkids' age, that kind of thing. So now I do tune in every once in a while to all the shows. I try to catch a sampling of all the different shows. I think it's only right.
Back in the day when we actually had an actual phone line, John would actually call into shows.
Yeah.
And some of our shows are like, we need other callers. Because this guy just won't shut up.
I had to call in. I had to disguise myself. I said, this is Simon Skiderka calling in. And it said, that sounds like John Yasutake's voice. Oh, this is Simon's. But yeah. And so, like Dan, you were asking you to do the long, I say the long hours, 9:30 to 10 every Tuesday. We hope I know you start early, and I understand that's why the 9:30 in the morning does not work. But your thoughts. What do you think? You think we should, like I said, we're going ahead with it. I just want to see what your thoughts are. Would you like to hear more about these businesses and why and how they got started and why they're in Columbia City, especially? That's what intrigues me. Why here? Why in our community?
I'm just waiting for a chance to answer.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, please.
No, but yeah, funny you should say that. I was just talking to my best friend right before this program, because we did have a little bit of time before this show came on, and I was talking to her, and I was like, "Hey, we got this brand new show called What's Cooking in Columbia City, where they're going to be interviewing local business owners every week." And she's like, "Well, that's a really dope idea." So yeah, I totally agree with her. I think that's dope, putting it on for the local businesses and let them tell their stories and show their merchandise, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And I got to be honest, maybe you'll get a free meal out of it somewhere, possibly, or a snack.
I'm not hating.
Yeah, right. But like I said, we patronize the businesses too. We use local businesses for some of the events that we do. We have been involved in, and it just makes sense. We work with everybody, and so plus Brenda, you have a lot of contacts in the community, and I think this is, like I said, I'm really happy we're able to do this. I'm very glad you're able to co-host with me, and you have, top billing because it's done alphabetically. That's the reason. Brenda Charles Edwards is alphabetically ahead of John. What?
I'm so glad my name comes near the top of the alphabet versus the bottom.
Thank you. Well, Yasutake, you can't get any closer to the end of the alphabet with the Y's, so I'm just glad. But we've been making contact with several, at least I have, like I said, we got a possible florist, we got a couple of restaurants, we got a workout place. I'm not going to name them because we're going to name them when we do the programming. But next week we will have a business owner and operator talk about their business on what's cooking in Columbia City. And it's not about food. It's
Yeah.
about everything going on in this little community that's probably one of the most vibrant communities in the city. They've been doing this thing. And we're talking about the designation was in 1973, the historic piece, but this community has been going on and thriving since the 1800s because it was annexed from Seattle. It wasn't a part of Seattle, believe it or not. Columbia City was annexed, which means you ain't part of us. And as Seattle grew, so did Columbia City. And, they used to have truck farms out here, a large Italian community, like I said, the Alberto family. It's just a beautiful history, and we're going to talk about it in the upcoming shows. I've got little bits and pieces that I'm also going to share, and then Brenda has some ideas about, interviewing the people and the kinds of things, because only Brenda can ask the hard, penetrating questions that she does, and the thought-provoking questions. Me, I said, "What's for dinner?" or "What's for lunch?" That kind of thing. What's on the menu? But that's what we got going. So thanks, Daniel, for updating us, and appreciate all your work on this. And
for sure.
Yeah. So,
and I believe the food's done cooking for tonight, because we got another show coming right up after you.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Daniel, for popping in and enlightening the community.
Oh, for sure.
And everyone listening, I sent out over 400 invitations to tune in. Thank you for listening in. But hey, we got a lot of stuff coming up, really good stuff. So thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my co-host, Brenda Charles Edwards. Thank you.
See you, folks. See you next week. Much love, Jan.
Stay tuned for Boswell Talk Outlet.
Oh, Boswell Talk Outlet. Wow, that's interesting. All right.